up, y'all? Preston for Fight Media 360 here. So this is a quick preview and prediction for Mick Conlan versus TJ Doheny. So before we get into all this, I just want to say this fight is going to be a all-out brawl. Both of them are, aggressive boxers. So this is going to be a very entertaining fight. I cannot wait for this fight. And also, this fight takes place on August the 6th so that would be on Friday, so tomorrow. And this is gonna be on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and this fight is promoted by MTK Global, by Frank Warren. So yeah. So now we got that out of the way. So now I'll talk about their odds and then what they need to do to win, and then my final prediction. So Mick Conlan is listed as a -600 favorite, I believe. When I looked, yeah, he's like a -600 favorite in this fight. And yeah. And yeah. So now we got that out of the way, so now let's talk about what they need to do to win, and then my final prediction. So let's start off with the slight favorite, Mick Conlan. So what I would like to see from Mick Conlan is I would like to see him, he was doing okay in the fight against Baluta. Like, yeah, he obviously won. He barely won that fight. But, I wasn't that impressed of his performance. I'm not saying that Baluta is garbage. He is he is like a solid fighter. He did actually beat TJ Doheny. So he is a solid fighter. But I just felt like Mick Conlan should have just he didn't really fight like how he usually does. Like he's usually like an aggressive boxer. Just throwing a lot of punches, moving their feet around a lot. He wasn't really doing that in his last fight. This fight, I would really like to see Mick Conlan do that, because Mick Conlan is he's still, even though he came off like a close win against Baluta, he's still a very solid fighter, and he is a pretty good prospect, so he definitely, I would really like to see him be an aggressive boxer like he is, and just cause he just didn't fight like that in his last fight. So in this fight, he definitely needs to do that, because if he's gonna fight like that, like how he did against Baluta, then he's not gonna win this fight, because Doheny, I believe he carries power, and he is a pretty good and he's a pretty good boxer, and they're both aggressive boxers. So Conlan needs to be very, very, very light on his feet, like how he usually is, bounce on his feet a lot, use your jab, just try to outbox him, land your power shots on him, and try to, look for the stoppage, and, be like the old Mick Conlan that you are, because, that fight against Baluta, obviously he won, but, it wasn't impressive at all. I felt like he should have, he showed a lot of holes in that game against Baluta, because because I feel like his Achilles heel, is pressure, or pressure fighters. He isn't good against pressure fighters, and Baluta isn't even like a top 50 fighter or anything. He let Baloo hang with them like that. So Conlan needs to, practice more on moving his feet more, like how he does, but he really needs to do that in this fight against Doheny, because Doheny isn't a bum. He can fight very well. He did have a very close fight. He did have a very close fight against Danny Roman. um, he would have won that fight if it wasn't for that knockdown. So he did come off a good win against him, and also he actually, and not came off a good win, but, and also he beat Iwasa, I think that's his name. Risuke Iwasa, yeah, Risuke Iwasa. So he beat him also. So don't so Conlan really needs to box his fight and move his feet around a lot in this fight, because if you can do that, he has a very, very good chance of winning this fight. So that's what Mick Conlan needs to do to win. All right, next up for TJ Doheny. So what I would like to see from TJ Doheny is I would like to see what he usually does is to try to box, but also I would really like to see him maybe be like a pressure fighter because again, like what I said, is that Conlan isn't good against guys who like to pressure fight, and I believe that Conlan is the taller and probably the bigger fighter in this fight. So he definitely needs to work on fighting up close against Conlan because Conlan isn't good at fighting. Like I said, Conlan isn't good at fighting guys that like to fight up close and like to pressure fight. So Doheny really needs to work on maybe pressure fighting him. He can't box, like if he could kind of like this. If he can box and hang with Conlan and win a lot of rounds and start winning the fight with the boxing skills, he needs to stick with that. But if Conlan's just beating him up with his boxing skills, and your boxing skills is clearly not working, you need to change up to being like a pressure fighter. I know like at the age of Doheny, it's not easy to change your style when you get older. But he really needs to he really needs to at least try, because like Conlan again is not good at going against guys that can pressure fight, like Beluda. And Beluda's not even a top 50 type of fighter. He's an alright fighter, but he's not like a top 50 type of fighter. And Conlan should easily like destroyed him. He should have easily beat him up. So like he needs to so he definitely needs to like kind of do what Beluda did in the pressure fight Conlan and to make Conlan like fight, So he really needs to like bring Conlan into a brawl and like pretty much tell him that you are in a fight, you're not gonna just come in here and try to wipe me out. So he really needs to put it all on the line, try to outbox him. If that doesn't work and Conlan is clearly winning the fight that way, then you need to start pressure fighting. But you need to start like, changing up somewhere in around like the mid rounds in the fight. If it's not working in the early rounds, then again you need to change to being a pressure fighter and try to be the more aggressive fighter. So that's what TJ Doheny needs to do to win. So yeah. So my final prediction for this fight, again, this is gonna be a very, very, very good fight. This is a very tough fight to predict, man. Like this is gonna be a very, very tough fight. But if I would have to pick one, I'm probably gonna lean more towards Mick Conlan by either a TKO in the mid round, I mean in the later rounds, or a very close split decision. It's mainly because like I feel like he's gonna like change up what he did from the last fight, and kind of like just be more light. I think he's gonna be more light on his feet this time and try to work better on his boxing skills. And I just think when he does that, I just think like Doheny's gonna have a lot of trouble trying to come in the inside because I just think Collins gonna be way too fast with his feet and just his jab and his hooks are just gonna be his punches are just gonna be way too fast. And if it does end from a stoppage, I'm probably gonna say it's gonna be a body shot. It could be from the face, but I'm gonna say like a body shot. You know, I just think he's gonna hit him to the body multiple times. For him to stop the fight. Um, and I just think the body for Colin would be like open like a lot for in this fight. So that's why I picked Colin to win this fight by either a TKO in the later rounds or a very close split decision. So yeah. So that's my final prediction. I got Mick Conlan by a TKO in the later rounds or a very close split decision. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm Preston for Fight Media 360, and thank y'all for watching this video.